Hello, ladies. Okay, continuing on with our trigger series, I am here to talk about trigger number 3. So if you are new in here and you're not quite sure what the heck I'm talking about as far as triggers, for the month of March, I decided that I was going to focus all on emotional triggers because at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that nutrition is simple. Like the actual nutrition subject is very simple. We know what we should eat. We know what we shouldn't eat. Like we're all smart humans. We do know what is real food, what isn't real food, and what we should be putting into our bodies. Where the problem is and where the struggle is our emotions get in the way. That is why we end up making poor choices, binge eating, overeating. That's the problem. It's the emotions. It's not the actual nutrition is hard. It's dealing with our emotions in relationship to nutrition is where it's really difficult. So once we start to identify what our triggers are and start to put some plans into place as far as how to manage those triggers, things become a lot easier to sort of stay on track, and you can begin to slowly make this more of a sustainable lifestyle. If you are like constantly feeling deprived, you're not doing this right. If you are constantly on the wagon, off the wagon, you're not doing this right. And these changes do not happen overnight. I have been at this, you guys, for like 5 years and I'm still not perfect, but I just continue to show up. I continue to learn. I continue to like self-evaluate, and I continue to just keep moving forward. So that's why we're all here. We are all here to support one another and to make some really awesome changes together. So if you're new and you don't know what the other triggers are or what really I'm talking about, I'm going to link the other videos into the comments of this video. So you can go ahead and watch the other videos about the different triggers, how to use the trigger tracker, and just start to become really aware of what's going on day to day for you. And, you know, to be honest, I think in this season of what's happening in the world, we need to be so aware of our triggers because they are coming at us quicker than ever. We are surrounded by them, but we get to control how we feel. We get to control what we put into our body. We get to control how we show up in this world and how we parent and how we are, how we're navigating all of these changes. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in. So trigger number 3 is a slow spiral to old habits. So you start making these changes, you almost get a little bit cocky. You know, like, oh, I've got this. This is easy. I know what I'm doing. A lot of us use the portion controlled system. So we use those color coded containers, which are like magic and have helped me so much. And I still use them to this day, 5 years later. But what a lot of people end up doing is they use them for a certain amount of time. They feel like they understand portion control. They feel like they've got their nutrition under control. So they just kind of slowly tuck those containers away in the back of the cupboard or in a drawer, and they start to eyeball their portions, and they start to think like, well, I can have, you know, more carbs now. It won't lead me into a downward spiral, or I can have more healthy fats than my body needs. Like, I got this. And we start to think that we have a handle on everything and that we don't need to use the tools anymore that got us to this point. So we start eyeballing our portions, and, you know, even simple habits, like it's happened to me. I'll just start like, you know, oh, I'll just finish my kids' grilled cheese crust. It's not a big deal. Oh, I made muffins for the kids, but you know, my 4-year-old only ate the top of the muffin off. Like, that's fine. I'll eat the bottom. I've been so good. I know how to get back on track. One, you know, half of this muffin won't be a big deal. And you're right. It's not a big deal. I'm not saying you need to like deprive yourself of anything, but those habits start to kick in. And then again at dinner, the kids don't finish their noodles. So you're like, oh, I'll just eat those noodles. I didn't have any. I stuck with my, you know, my vegetable and my lean protein, but I'll just eat those noodles. And then your son has an ice cream and doesn't finish it. Yes?
I'll just put my seashells in the water.
Okay, that's fine. You can wash them.
No, I didn't want to.
Okay, well then we'll dry them and we'll get them out, okay?
Okay.
And then, you know, you just finish off the kids' ice cream cone. Andy, shut the door, okay? It's really loud out there. And that is sort of how these like slow spiral to old habits start picking up. And then you go out for dinner, and where normally you would order something really healthy and something that is actually like real food for your body, instead you're like, oh, I'm gonna get like the fish and chips and dessert, and like I can have a few glasses of wine. I got this. And before you know it, it's like days go by, a few weeks go by, and all of a sudden you're like, how did this happen? Like, I was doing so well. I was so in control of my nutrition, and I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got to this place of like low energy, gaining a little bit of weight, feeling kind of gross, feeling kind of sluggish. My digestive system is kind of crap now. And that's not the only habit that you start to let go of. You maybe aren't showing up for your workouts anymore. And I notice it in here, right? I always know when people are falling off track because they don't show up anymore. They're not logging their workouts. They're not participating in the daily posts that I put up. And it's this slow spiral to old habits. And before you know it, I'm messaging you saying like, are you okay? Where are you at? I haven't heard much from you. And then it's the response of, I don't know what happened. I got completely off track. I feel awful. I feel, depressed about all of this, and I don't know how to get back on track. That's like not everybody's situation, but that is what I have seen. Those are the trends that I've seen in the 5 years that I've been a coach and been doing this. So that is what we want to avoid, you guys, if you haven't figured that out already. The slow spiral to old habits is not a good one. There is nothing wrong with having some ice cream and muffins and like all of that stuff, but it's the thinking like, I got this, the cockiness that comes in. I have been there, I've done that, I probably still will do that, but you've got to stay on track with what we've got in front of us. The portion controlled containers are your lifeline, I still use them every single day. Like, I swear by them. It is what keeps me energized, feeling good, my digestion on track, my mood, my mindset, everything. Showing up for your workouts, showing up in here. Those are all the habits that we are trying to create, and thinking that you've got this and you can do it on your own is great if you can, but a lot of us can't. You came into this community for a reason, because it was hard to do on your own. So use the tools, use everything that you've got in front of us. Okay, I think that I kind of said everything I wanted to say. And another little thing that I had written down, I wrote these notes a couple weeks ago. But when you, what do I want to say? If you stay on track, you never need to get back on track. Like, that goes without saying. If you stay on track, you never need to get back on track. So I encourage you to keep showing up. Keep showing up even when it's hard. I have seen so many women in here showing up when it's hard and coming in and just saying like, I'm struggling, you guys, like this is hard. I want to just like throw in the towel. That's what you need to do. You need to lean into this community. You need to show up, and you just need to take advantage of all of the tools that we have. You guys, we are so lucky right now with what's happening in the world and with so many things being taken away from us. We are so lucky that we have these workouts at our fingertips, that we have this community, this support, this accountability, this outlet right at our fingertips. Like, I am blessed beyond belief to have this, because I'm not sure how I would be feeling otherwise. So just lean in, you guys. Take advantage of all of this, and just don't let any of what's happening in the world or, beyond, even if this was 2 weeks ago, my message would still be the same. Don't let those bad habits just slowly start to creep in and slowly start to become your new normal. Okay, you guys got this. I would love to hear what you think about this long-winded message on this Thursday morning. I hope you are all doing well. Reach out, lean in. We got this, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.